I'd like to say that that's not what my face is doing at the moment. Why has that happened? Reactivate the camera. No? Where's my beautiful face? There we go. That's better. So yeah, at the moment I'm not on the Redacted podcast. Someone just mentioned that in chat. My brother was in a very minor car accident, and it might change his care times and that sort of stuff. So I can't commit to that particular time for doing the podcast at the moment. So I won't be in there for a while. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future. I might have to move stuff around, but I'll still be part of communities and things. Uh, Star Citizen's official release date. I mean, there's no word on that sort of thing, but yeah, 2019 seems like a good date for the beta or beta. So this is sort of like a Star Citizen talky talk. We'll go on. Look, it's gone. The green dots have happened. Why has that happened? Oh, it's because I turned the camera on and off. Bear with me 1 second. Let's make it. Let's try not to ruin everyone's immersion. This that should help. And let's do this. Make my face look sharp. Then let's make sure that autofocus, light compensation. Is that better? Oh, green dots appearing. I went, check my volume. Too loud. What? That's just a video in the background. That's. I mean, I can. Do you want me to do music at the same time? Madness, yeah. This is how the pro streamers do it. Bit rough around the edges. I like to think that my streams make it feel that anyone else can stream or make YouTube videos. I think I make it more accessible for people. Yeah, so the idea is that people can ask questions about anything they want, preferably Star Citizen related or channel related or something that I can at least form some form of answer, even if it is out my ass. And then we'll talk about them. We'll talk about topics. We'll talk about Star Citizen stuff. Talk about not Star Citizen stuff, but mainly Star Citizen stuff. I'm starting to do lots of multiplayer VR stuff. Oh, the dots. It sees the dots. I can't see the dots unless I'm looking at it through the camera. That's pretty cool. So like Bridge Crew and stuff. Lots of multiplayer, mainly cooperative VR games on the Oculus with some of my mates who are now all buying Oculuses. Do you think there'll be a notification if your ship is being stolen or hacked? Possibly, or some things. They haven't fleshed out those whole systems yet. So that's a good point. With the hacking stuff, I suspect based on your ship's systems, it will go like there's an intrusion or it's detecting an intrusion, but cheaper systems or civilian systems might not detect that stuff. You might get things if you've got if you're eagle-eyed showing that doors opening and stuff, because like in one of the missions in the Persistent Universe at the moment, they've got the guy going kind of scary, and he goes, "Oh, these older ships. One of my airlocks just triggered. Oh, it must be a mistake." That sort of stuff might happen where you're like, "Oh, door triggered. Well, someone's come aboard." Then you'd have to spot that. So we don't know the thing. We don't know. Those mechanics will get fleshed out, and we are the people, all of us, the community, that will kind of help influence that. That's why I like the Star Citizen project and the direction of open development. I use the term open like that because open development doesn't mean open to everything. It just means people have a significantly larger say, and the development process is shown as it happens. Can we leave ships running without being in the pilot seat in 3.0? I don't know. I think that would probably be the intention of the full game, though. At some point, we will be able to leave ships running. Certainly. I don't know. A quadriplegic blind monkey could stream, and I would watch that. Yeah, I think the Star Citizen moves away from needing experience, as in leveling experience and stuff like that, and moves on to player skill and tool sets. So you'll be able to purchase like hacking tools of some description or explosives or whatever, and then your skill at physically using them and learning how those mechanics work will depend on how you hack into ships and how you breach ships and that sort of stuff. You've got to remember as well. Oh, what sounds very low? Me? I'll turn this up. Apologies. How's that? Is that better? Turn it up a little bit more. I keep on switching between my Oculus headset microphone and the mic. Yeah, cool. It's better. Win. So I suspect the breaching. So 3.0 is going to be the backbone and skeleton of the game, but it's going to have very simple mechanics when it comes to some of the earlier ones. So breaching, for example, I suspect could be as simple as being able to blow doors up, possibly, or spending time like on a door keypad, literally holding F, or using some inner thought system where just after a amount of time it will open the door. It will be pretty simple. I'm doing fine, thank you very much. There's going to be races on planets, but I don't think they're going to be enforced races. So there'll be race tracks around some of the moons in 3.0, because that's one of the things they added in. I don't think they're enforced though, so you'll have to go, I've won, or record a video. Thank you very much, Commander Brunkle, whatever your name was. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. Gamescom's already happened. CitizenCon is on the 27th of October. So end of next month. And it will be glorious, hopefully. And we can talk about... you'll be able to bodge an Oculus Rift to work with 3.0, but it won't be natively supported. I suspect we might hear a little bit more about the Oculus Rift support at CitizenCon, or maybe not, if not at CitizenCon, a little bit further afterwards. Faceware, the guys that are doing the face over IP stuff for Star Citizen, and watch some videos about that again in a bit, and we'll talk about it. That they're doing the face over IP and the integrated VoIP voice over IP. I believe they are also doing a lot of the VR stuff, or getting stuff integrated with VR as well, or working in tandem with VR. They had some people, various devs, had an interview with Crash Academy, some of which of that interview or whatever was pulled from the internet, but in that they suggested that they were going to be working on VR in not too distant future for the game in some aspects, but we don't really know exactly what that means, how native, when we're going to get support. Is it going to be full release? Is it going to be past release? We don't really know. And a lot of the stuff, unfortunately, I don't really know. So this footage I've put on is from the Gamescom live stream that was throughout the day. I think this is the second day's live stream. I did loads of gaming cuts of them. Boop, 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 boop. That's how you do a cut. Today as well, for people that are interested, probably not. I bought some chef's knives. I bought some Damascus steel knives. I haven't bought proper good knives in a few years, pretty much since I stopped being a chef. And I want to do some cookery on my channel occasionally, because I'm thrifty as hell, but I'm pretty good at cooking. So I'm going to do occasional stuff on the stream probably, and it might be gaming food. We might do Big Benny's noodles and stuff, and it will be replicatable and fun and nice and yummy. Maybe, I don't know. Hello. Yes, I'm doing okay. I've had to move around a load of my schedule and stuff recently. Brother in a very minor car accident. He's totally fine, just a bit battered and bruised and achy painy. He was worried. One of the reasons he crashed was because he thought he was having a heart attack, so they had to cut him out of his car. So it seemed a lot worse when if you look at pictures and read about it in the paper. You're like, oh my god, it looks really bad. But it's fortunately unscathed, pretty much. Yeah, I'll do Star Citizen food and stuff like that. So we're going to get some network optimization in 3.0, but not much. We don't know. We're getting some network optimization in 3.0. Let's see what's actually on the schedule for it, and we'll talk about that more specifically. It's a lot of the stuff will be coming soon after 3.0. So in 3.1 and 3.2 is when we're going to have object container streaming in better. and the bind culling, stuff like that network. So for 3.0, we've got new message queue, physics serialization, persistent data refactor, the object container streaming setup, but not object container streaming. That's one of the reasons they had to smash down the persistent universe, because they had to set up the universe with object container streaming in mind, because it's what a lot of their technology is based on for the seamless nature of the game, for the giant capital ship battles, for planets and everything. They're all in these object containers, which can get, well, I suppose, progressively smaller, and then they basically decide what you see graphically and eventually network-wise as well, within certain areas, and what needs to be streamed in, what needs to be culled, what data you don't need to receive, that sort of stuff. So it's all, and then like a capital ship could be multiple object containers, and they can cull up the game like that, and that's their clever way of being able to have quite a high fidelity in game. Eventually as well, so not in 3.0, probably not in 3.1 or 3.2. We're going to have server meshing eventually. That's the way they expect to solve the problem of having everyone on one shard, because they want everyone on the same server if possible. At least one giant universe. So server meshing will have multiple servers handling particular areas, and then just meshing the data together. Again, like with object container streaming, it will cut up a piece of the verse and go, well, there's 1,000 people here, and we need to cut this bit up into several chunks so that people can all interact with each other. But we don't know exactly how that's going to form until we actually see it and have it in our hands. But 3.0 is going to have some network optimization, but not all of it. Not all of it by any means. And we don't know how effective these improvements here are going to be until we do. You see what I mean? But 3.1, bind culling. So that will be bind unbind stuff. So that will be if you don't need to receive a particular piece of data, it won't send it to you. It will stop detecting data after a certain range, and this helps with throughput. This is going to help significantly, hopefully, with network stuff. We don't know how many players are going to be in 3.0 either in each server. The expectation, and the kind that's been suggested, that will be at least the same amount, plus however many more they can get in through the PTU phase. So at the end of the PTU phase, we'll know exactly how many players are able to get in. At the moment, no, very much so not in one instance. Eventually, it will be the plan, the intention is to have everyone in the same server, or at least as many people as possible. You might get a higher player count in 3.0, we don't know. Expect the same player count. I think, so they had some issues. Obviously, there's super polish and issue fixing and bug fixing at the moment. So if you bear with me 1 second, they've talked about, I think they're the top of the schedule report. I think they had like 17 people in before they have frame rate issues. Currently, performance and stability drop sharply once active players in a server reach 12 to 15. So that was one of the major issues that was holding up the 3.0. So they want at least 24, I believe, in it simultaneously, before it's like a go. But we'll have to see. So it is moons. The idea as well is that in 3.0, one of the things they'll do, I expect that throughout the mini patches there will be more and more players added. But again, we don't know that. I'm just hoping. We'll see missions that try and get players to interact with each other. So it will more likely give missions in similar areas and push players to go and do similar tasks or conflicting tasks with each other. So they will be competing, one person, as we saw like in the Gamescom demo, like saying preventing them get the black box compared to them having to retrieve it, if you see what I mean. What's up for 12 players? Well, I mean, if everything went to shit, you might have to, but we see that's the sort of stuff that I do love. Star Citizen, I love its open development process. I don't love when they try and give hard dates for stuff. I don't like the expectations of dates, even though I do comment on them myself and I do say expectations myself. The issue is that the community get angry because stuff's not described properly and not shown properly. They just hear, oh, 3.0 is supposed to be out now. oh, why isn't it out? It's delayed. And that sort of rumor gets spread. If you're going to participate in expectations of things or um, talking about speculative stuff, just be mature enough to know that it's not always, in fact, mostly isn't going to be correct. But it's okay to speculate as long as you're like, well, I know what I'm in for with Star Citizen. I know that. Let's have a look at this graph. For example, they added an additional 27 bugs, so they are at a larger starting must fix issues than they started with originally with this this burn down schedule. And this was because of Gamescom. So Gamescom, loads of, I think it was like 2,000 testers effectively went onto the floor and they worked out a load of bugs. Now they fixed a load of bugs at Gamescom still, which is why the peak drops. And literally people on the floor going, we need to get this fixed. And they got new builds down, drawing Gamescom presentation. You can see the difference between the day 1 gameplay and the day 2 gameplay because they've literally fixed a few of the bugs and there's no crashes after day 1. There was a couple of crashes in day 1. So they are fixing them. And they discovered a load of new bugs, which is like quite disheartening when you look at it. You're like, "Whoa, fuck!" But I mean, those bugs were there whether or not they saw them or not. So I think realistically, we're looking at between 2 weeks if some bug fixing messiah comes along, and goes, "Oh," and everything's really fucking easy because you don't know how big these bugs are. They might be tiny. They might get down to one bug that takes them ages. They might be able to fix them all pretty quick. So we're looking between like 2 weeks and 8 weeks realistically. I think, but again, speculative. Stop telling them about the bugs. It's important. Like the burn down schedule for Star Citizen, it's important because we were expecting 3.0 like since December last year, and they changed the scope of it. They changed exactly what's in it, and it looks amazing now. Like, yeah, they've scaled back on the empty content, as I'll call. Like, they wanted planets and stuff in. They wanted the whole of the Stanton system in by 3.0, but they would have been pretty empty. Now we've got it's going to have quite a highly detailed quarter of the Stanton system just with moons. And when I say detailed, I mean like graphically detailed. The object scattering on planets is going to be very beautiful, and like the actual tech of the moons and planets rotating around the systems, nothing's faked, and that's the joy of it. It's literally the backbone of the game now. That 3.0 backbone of the game, everything can be built upon it. They haven't faked anything there, and that's the reason it's taking so long to get out. Now, the issue with the burn down, well, the thing with the burn down is it's really important to see their bug fixing and polishing process. Like, we don't know how big some of these bugs are. They could be tiny, they could be massive. But we have to follow it week by week and see exactly how long it takes them. Now, I doubt we'll have this kind of severe, like, intensive bug hunting process that we've seen with this burn down report ever again. We might, we might, but this is effectively them releasing the start of their game. Everything before now you've seen. Thank you very much, Artillery. Everything before now can kind of be seen as a demo, as tech demos, as proof of intention, and testing of some of the mechanics. Nothing's going to be lost of what they did before, but it's all getting pushed into this new persistent universe, and everything before has like been smashed down and rejigged and put into other aspects, and like they reuse the modular buildings and textures and stuff for other things. But it's all been effectively rebuilt for 3.0. I haven't played Conan for a while. I will play Conan again. So they are working on quite a lot beyond 3.0. They are working on 3.1, 3.2, and beyond. So mining mechanics, other systems, lots of stuff. They're working on that in tandem with 3.0. The Stanton system represents a effectively vertical slice of the universe, and once they have that built out, it doesn't take them that long to build other content out from that. They spent loads of time on their procedural tech and tools. Thank you very much, Angels of Death. Appreciate it for this host. It doesn't take them that much. It doesn't take them as long as it has to build out other content. They've got the tools there, so that they can generate buildings. They're building modular terrain sets, modular everything, procedurally generated stuff, and then with an artist's like flourish to finish it off. The things that take a long time, or take the longest time, will be the hero assets. So like that statue in Levski, little specific flourishes that make a zone, a particular landing zone, that make them that landing zone, that give them that flavour. That's the thing that will take a little bit longer. But the procedural planets, they can just go, I want a planet built like this, and the system will build it, and then they can place stuff on the planet, or they can let the procedural generation place everything for them. They need to finish building out these modular building sets as well. So we're going to have procedural cities, and we're going to have modular buildings, so that, like with the outposts, they can do a whole town, they can do a whole settlement, they can do a whole city eventually, and then just have it procedurally generated, and then touch it up to how they want. Obviously, you're going to have stuff that's like the hero areas, like you might have a procedurally generated Terra for the city, or ArcCorp, but then closer to the landing areas, that might be a lot more touched up and a lot more work done to it, and then they'll have occasional like hero assets coming out of it. Yes, that is a big spike in bugs because of Gamescom. Loads of bugs were found on the floor. They fixed some bugs that then showed them that they had other bugs, and it's gone up to more than it was before. We're gonna have to see what that bug what they drop to tomorrow. We'll have the burn down later tonight, and then we have the new schedule report tomorrow. I'm hoping that these bugs get fixed quicker and quicker and quicker. We don't know.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Thanks, Mugs. Much appreciated. It's important to know the process, though. Stuff goes forwards as well as backwards. Yeah, there have been delays. Really bloody annoying. I trust CIG to make a pretty good game. Probably one of the best games. And us as a community need to hold them responsible for particular mechanics and stuff. We can't hold them responsible for being delayed and late. We can get annoyed at them for it, and we can say, sort your act out. But at the end of the day, you either trust CIG or you don't in that regard. And I think they show enough from the burn downs and the ATV and the studio reports and stuff to make me quite happy. But that being said, I'm annoyed that they're not showing studio reports properly at the moment. They're doing the burn down reports, which are kind of studio report light across all of the studios. I love ATV studio reports. I love them. And their monthly report. And it's because we're at Gamescom and CitizenCon season. There's a lot that they have to do for those shows. I think one of the things that annoys me about Star Citizen, not annoys me, or the way I would have liked it done differently, and I'll say this every fucking time I stream, I would have liked the alphas a lot more raw. I would have liked them to just give us assets and just go, knock yourselves out as they get an interesting game. Just give it to us, and we can spawn it in a console or whatever, and like do stuff like that. And then they can work on the core of the game, and then just keep on giving it to us. And effectively, everyone would be an Evocati in that way, but. The other thing is, as well, as I'd quite like them to give the Evocati this build as it is, but I understand now why they don't. Some of these bugs would literally get in the way of Evocati testing. I assume that's what it is. So these big blocker ones, I suspect, these 9 blockers would basically stop the Evocati being able to test anything that's relevant, and when they fix them, then the testing would become relevant. But we'll have to wait and see exactly how they do that. They might, after they've got rid of these 9 blockers and some of these critical ones, go, well, it's ready for an Evocati build because the rest of these can be done. But the idea of the schedule report was that they did need to get all 94 of these bugs fixed. Yeah, but so the scope of Star Citizen has certainly changed from 2013 to now. They've added the procedural tech. They've added a good amount to the game, and I hope that a lot of people enjoy that scope change, and that's one of the reasons I backed. I wanted a big economy game. I didn't realise they're going to do procedural planets so early. I think it's good that they have. I think it's annoying that it's going to effectively delayed the game by 6 months to a year, effectively. That's the way I see it. And Squadron 42, I mean, they're having planet-side missions and stuff, so I'm assuming that tech has slowed down Squadron 42, or at least delayed it by like 6 months again, which is or a year, whatever. You know what I mean? It's and I suspect that we'll have a beta for Star Citizen 2019, quite genuinely. I'm planning to go to CitizenCon. I'm planning to. I will try. Again, brother, Miss Kara, I'll see what I can do. Yeah, so the engine changes, the custom engine that Star Citizen, the Star Engine or Star Yard, whatever you want to call it, is pretty custom now. It's a lot further away than from Lumberyard and CryEngine now. Like quite far away. It's like over 50% changed code, and I'm not even sure how that. I'm not sure what that means, but their tools that they have for building everything out is what they spent a lot of time on. Yeah, I think a mixture of miscommunication, even by people like me, to the community. So someone will watch one of my videos, and I will, a lot of the time, I will be speculating, or I'll be talking about something that I assume people know, um, and that will give false expectations and hope to people. The Star Citizen website is fucking horrid as well. So, this is something that should hopefully get changed pretty soon. This entire ship matrix is changing. Well, let's have a quick look at the website. So this website, I don't really like it. It's like a blog. It's got the information on it. Unfortunately, a lot of that information is wrong. See, it goes, what is Star Citizen? Actually, that's not too bad info-wise. The Vision. So a lot of this Vision stuff is actually older information. I mean, this is like the original Kickstarter videos here and the original pitch videos. And so all this stuff needs to be updated. It doesn't really talk about procedural planets, I don't think. And then you go on to something like the ship matrix. And half of these ships are wrong sizes, older weapon systems. So it talks about size like 5 weapons when it means size 1 weapons now, things like that. So it's a mixture of the old systems, new systems, and newest systems, all kind of congregating on the same page. So a lot of the information is effectively incorrect, including the sizes of ships, including the description and changes of ships. So this website just needs to get done. They are making this look a lot better. Turbulent are doing it so that everything will be loads and loads and loads of, basically all of your ship stats will be on there, and they'll all be up to date as they change. And I think that is for... Well, actually, we don't know when that is. I think it's for 3.0. And it's happening soon. They keep on talking about it. The makers of Star Citizen is broke as fuck. No, they're pretty good. They're pretty good financially. I mean, they keep on making quite a lot of money. I mean, just last week they made 1.4 million. No, so Star Citizen's going to have quite healthy cash reserves. It's just like saying that the Blizzard's gone bust. I mean, you can say, well, I heard. Well, anything that's asserted without facts can be dismissed without facts quite happily. So I like the look and the feel of Destiny 2. It's a mixture of like Borderlands meets a grindy Diablo looter. I quite liked it. I'm gonna be playing it. Yeah, indeed. I will do ship buyers guides. I will do lots of ship buyers guides once this website's redone. Like, this ship matrix needs to be redone. We need to be able to compare the ships accurately. Like, I don't want to be comparing something that is the totally wrong gun turrets and size, because that's the latest information we had on it, which was like 2 years ago, to something that's now with the current 2.0 modern systems. So... I hopefully Destiny 2 is not going to be pay to win. I'm happy for games to have pay to have time advantage. I say I'm happy. I'm happy for people to pay for aesthetic items. I'm not really happy to people have massive time advantages or anything. But as long as everything is obtainable in game, and as long as there's a strong economy that you don't need real money to back. So strong economy, I'll be mastering that economy as quick as I can. Did it need pretty well? Star Citizen, I'm going to be focused on supremely on the economy and industry aspects. Fuck you, Mubot. Are you alright, Baron Borg? How's it going, dude? Yeah, the cargo numbers are all wrong. So, but yeah, the website is getting redone. At the very least, in the short term, the ship stats is getting redone by Turbulent, and that should be hopefully a lot better. But we're going to get information on all of the systems, so like telemetry systems and lots of stuff, like stuff that we don't have currently. Item System 2.0 has allowed them to put everything in. It's the idea, but half the information is wrong, at least half. And it really annoys me that they don't sort it out. And also,
Tricksy little
it's really hard to
foxes.
navigate this webpage. Thank you very much, Kamikaze. So this is the thing that annoys me most about Star Citizen is the website, and they're just not finished. I would have changed a load of the stuff or turned off some of the stuff on the ship metrics, but anyway, I'll stop ranting about that. I have a Reddit now. Look at my Reddits. Okay, I have Reddits. That's where I'm going to be taking feedback and posting those of my videos and doing random giveaways, just dropping stuff in. Oh, thank you very much, you fucking legend. The Fondler. Benji the Fondler. Wow, what a name. What a beautiful name. What's this? Will 3.0 provide better consensus on what the system requirements will be? Oh, okay, so this was basically... They haven't told us anything at all about what the average or basic system spec will be for 3.0. They don't really know until we test it in the PTU. I, however, will test it on a variety of different systems and graphics cards so that we can get a good standing, and we'll see what diminishing returns we have. At the moment, like in 2.6.3, there's no point in having a really amazing rig because you're only able to get 30 frames per second at best kind of thing in the persistent universe. Unless you play in offline mode, in which case you can get a nice solid 60 continuously or more. That's not what you want in Star Citizen's MMO. You don't want to play on offline mode. But we don't know about the system specs that will be for 3.0. Let's have a look at what this was. This is a sneak peek about what we're going to see.
Basically, every action the player does consumes stamina. If you're sprinting, jumping, crouching.
While the player is moving, their stamina drains depending on stance, equipment weight, and movement slope.
If you run up a flight of stairs, you obviously see your heart rate going up, your ECG graph getting a bit more intense. This is displayed on your mobiGlas, and we're also going to be displaying it on the visor.
We want to encourage the player to think tactically when they perform actions. This brings a lot of interesting gameplay possibilities to Star Citizen. The game gives you the information. It's up to you whether you use it or not.
Oh my fucking god. Now, thank you very much, Stormfire. Honestly, so I appreciate donations. Stormfire, you've given so much. Stormfire did a giveaway to me. He's invited me to his corp with very friendly people. He's given me ships for giveaways. And thank you very much for the donation. Very much appreciated. If you've got spare cash and you want to donate, great. You don't need to. Like, feedback is great. Just watching is great. You can get me at feedback at boredgamer.co.uk. If you need to talk to me about anything, I will try and be as interactive as I can. Thank you so much. Really fucking appreciate. I worry about people buying spaceships. It's why I always say at the end of the ship buys guides, because I think it's content that needs to be made, and I like talking about ships, and I get very hyped about stuff. But I worry about people buying them when they can't afford stuff. I know that people manage their own income, and that's smart. I've talked to people before, and they're like, no, just I want whatever. But just be safe, be sensible. Thank you. I have anxiety about things like that. Like, they really worry.
And you will suffer the consequences if you don't.
Thank you. That's my favourite bug. It's good. You don't need to donate. You can just watch. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Give feedback, comment, chat to me, whatever. So, yeah, we know there's bugs with 3.0. We saw them. We saw the slightly beyond 3.0 demo, crash live, which was heartbreaking, but at least we know it's real. We saw problems on the Gamescom show floor. That's one of the reasons that 3.0 is now. But I'm interested to see how they are going to do the stamina system. I suspect we basically saw everything there. Maybe that your blood oxygen level affects your rate of stamina, regeneration, and how it decreases and stuff. It will make your screen go a bit blurry, and that sort of stuff. If we don't like it when we get our hands on it, we tell CIG, and we get it changed, or we get it edited, or we get it reiterated, or we get it improved. So this is why I like the project. This is why I don't mind waiting for stuff. It's all about the journey. They still have lots of critical bugs. Every one of those bugs needs to be seen as a blocker, I suppose. These are all raw blockers. These 94 bugs, because they didn't want to give it to the Evocati until they've got them all fixed. Now that might change. They might go, well, let's give it to the Evocati now, whatever. But I'm interested to see how many they get fixed by tomorrow. So, yeah. Quite like chatting about Star Citizen in general. Yeah, that was bullshit about Destiny being released so much later on the PC, but you know, I'm quite good with waiting. Pretty much every game I've played over the past 2 years has been an alpha game or early access, and still in early access. I don't know how they're going to implement CUDA physics. I love CUDA cores for, rendering things. And I love the NVIDIA physics stuff they've got for Killing Floor, for example. I think it's fucking amazing the way they do the liquids and the gravity and the physics in that game for using the NVIDIA CUDA stuff. I don't know enough about it to know whether it's going to be super amazing or not. I'm very much looking forward to Vulkan integration. That's going to be Windows 7 Plus. And everyone's going to be able to use it, which is great because loads of people I know are still in Windows 7, which makes it really hard to set up Oculuses with their computers, strangely. So I play, at the moment, regularly, The Division, because there's been loads of new patches for it. I used to play loads of Rust. I'm not playing Rust at the moment. I'll play Conan again. I'll play Rust again at some point. I play PUBG. I've been playing loads of Bridge Crew and Oculus stuff in general recently. We'll play Payday 2, Killing Floor 2, Left 4 Dead 2, lots of things with 2s in it. Titanfall 2, Viscera Cleanup Crew, lots of basically co-op, quite pretty looking games. Don't play much Star Citizen with my regular friend group because they are snobby when it comes to games. Like, they don't mind an early access game, but there needs to be a bit more depth to it or competitive nature to it. Like, they'll still occasionally play Counter-Strike, but they'd get annoyed at Star Citizen's bugs, and they'd be like, oh, we've done everything in Star Citizen in 2 weeks now. What is there to do? And they move on to Payday 2 again, and redo the missions in that and stuff. They're very... one of the reasons I'm called BoredGamer, actually, is because I get bored of stuff pretty quickly. Star Citizen is pretty much the only thing, other than fleeting glance with Diablo 3, and little bits of those other games that I mentioned, occasionally getting through. I quite like Civ. I play a lot of Civ 5. If you don't have your question answered, you can re-ask it. Just don't spam it. Give it a few minutes. It's normally because I haven't seen it. If you purchased an Avenger package when Star Citizen comes out, Avenger package, you'd have an Avenger. Oh, I see. No, so if you've purchased an Avenger package, you'll just have the Avenger. If you upgraded an Aurora package, you'll just have an Avenger. See what I mean? Thank you very much, Commander. Much appreciated. So me and Noob work very closely together when we talk about stuff and look at notes and things now. Like we're getting much better at that. We have very similar content. Noob compresses it another level compared to what I do. I like talking. Best gaming chair under 300. This was 70 quid. So what, like $90? Let me see if I can find it on eBay. Orange gaming chair. Organage. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wait. You just... Oh, let's bring it over here. Fuck it. It's basically one of these. It's like $60. I really like them. Cheap and cheerful, mate. Cheap and cheerful. I'm a thrifty motherfucker. Oh, no. Oh, cock weasel. Let's open that back up again. You didn't see it, did you? Yeah. Peace. Okay. Okay. Here you go. My favourite gaming chair friend there. It's basically mine, but a different colour. So we're going to be able to have custom colours on our ships. I'm not sure how custom we're going to be able to make ship skins. There will be a system for changing colours. There may be a system to put different types of stripes and decals and stuff on them. They talked about that a little while ago. I don't know exactly how fleshed out that's going to be, or when we're going to get it. I do think, however, we might see lots of different skins for 3.0. The skin system's in. Oh my god, thank you very much for the $20 donation. I don't know how this... Is this come through Super Chat or something? It's a weird thing. Another videos good was wondering how big multi-crew ships will work with the limited number of players allowed on the server at a time. So, I mean, that's a good question. The multi-crew ships, smaller ones work fine, obviously. They're improving the turret experience, hopefully to a level which is now good. Like, before it was hell in a turret, let's admit it. I mean, it was you might as well have other people flying crappy ships like Auroras around you and whatever. And actually, probably that's quite a good option anyway. But the turret gameplay was trash, and there wasn't too much multi-crew gameplay for consoles. In 3.0, that should be a lot better. Now, when we're talking about large ship gameplay, like Idris is fighting, we're going to need... They had in the Gamescom demo 6v6. Now, let's actually bring that up. Bear with me. Talk about it while we look at it. Gamescom clips.
I'm going to buy so many spaceships.
Thank you very much.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Oh my fucking god, thank you very much, David. Dr. David Bowman. You fucking legend. I'll buy so many spaceships. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Where's my gaming cut of the bloody bull to... Star Citizen Gamescom. Oh, for cock's sake, but bear with me. Do I have a gaming cut? Yes, I do. It's such a start system. Now my video's done up.
No, these are
Idris,
these are
beautiful shit.
from
But
the Idris, by the way.
when there's just 24 players in a server,
in order to shoot you.
and you want more than one of them, I mean, even just with one, that's probably pushing it. And if you want to do multiple things, multiple people to be in the server. Now, at Gamescom, these were 6v6, these factors. So there's 6 crew on each of these Idris fight. Now, we want servers with, I suppose, at least 48 people on, if we can have capital ship battles. Really? Don't we? I mean, obviously, the sooner the better to get the interest in the game for us to play with, and it's sooner better for everything. Yeah, we're going to need more people for the championship battles properly, because realistically, that's got like, we can run it with 6 people. We're going to want like 12 people. I think the NPC ones in Squadron 42 have 18 or 19, so 19 or 20 NPC squads. It's an awesome battle. I mean, some of the frame rates when they passed each other were pretty low. Explosions are cool. They had the shields off specifically because with shields on, the battles take too long. Also, at the moment, the railgun can't be fired with the shields up. I think there's a 1.5 minute cycle time on the shields. I'll be playing some Bridge Crew again tonight on the Oculus with some mates. We were doing it. We were doing it last night and the night before. But you can see some of the multi-crew, because Bridge Crew has got really simple controls and really basic functions and stuff. And it's Star Citizen Light for multi-crew. And you can see the fun you can have with that just with the very light amount of controls. Star Citizen is quite in-depth controls. Oh, okay. For the 600i, now I am 100% with Nubify here. We talked about this and we talked about stuff before we did those videos as well, because you wanted my opinion, such as these. 600i, beautiful looking ship, one of the best looking ships I think. Functionality-wise, very low function. So, let's actually bring 600i, beautiful looking ship, probably the best, one of the best looking ships in the game. But it doesn't have much function, and when I say it doesn't have much function, it's because its function can be done by significantly cheaper ships better. So the Aquila can do the exploration stuff, and it's significantly cheaper and comes with a rover and a snub. It's just beautiful looking ship. It doesn't have the VIP gameplay, and when I say the VIP gameplay, it doesn't have the ability to get on board with the Genesis and people transport and 890 transport missions. So those ships will be able to ferry around people, like a 747, like a jumbo jet, or a much more sort of like first class experience with less but higher class VIPs like you would in the 890 jump. But this isn't going to have that gameplay. So it's basically just a very pretty ship with not as much function as other ships. And for some people, they will want it as a collector's, they'll want it as status symbols. I, as a very much function over form and thrifty person, cannot justify buying one at all. I don't even want to do one as a giveaway because I can't justify them. They're beautiful though, and if you like it, you like it. I very much want them to allow at least the VIP carrying experience. So you'd have like a VIP or two that you could carry in the ship. Boom. The ship's amazing looking. It's just not as functional as other ships that are significantly cheaper. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could. So you could have it the same. It has the same functionality as like as an Andromeda, something, doesn't it? Or as an Aquila almost. It's just a lot more expensive. You can have that cool lounge. I mean, yeah, that'd be great. I mean, if I didn't have an 890, then maybe I'd look at it slightly differently. It was just very expensive. $400 for a ship, $435 for a ship is really fucking expensive, especially when you can get it in game. And let's just remember that you can always get these in game. All you need, and I hope a load of people are going to get just those basic starter packages and go, "Fuck you, buddy! I've got all the ships and I got them all in game." So I think that's going to be cool. I mean, the Carrack is probably my favourite exploration ship, and I've got a Carrack. I've got all of the relatively good or top tier at mechanic ships like the Endeavour and the Carrack and stuff because I want to make content on them. The Bandu Merchantman, it's important for me to be able to get that content done. I mean, the 315p is going to be great for a single person exploring. It'll probably give you more function than the 600i. Lol, lol, lol. I don't understand people's like anger at like, oh, the ship's shit. It's not shit. It looks beautiful. It is literally sold on being pretty, but that's it. So buy it if that's what you love. Like, this ship's amazing because that's why you should be buying ships in the first place. I don't think you're going to get that much of a advantage from purchasing ships. You're going to need people from an org or a group to help run the larger ones, and you could get that group and stuff to all pay in towards a capital ship in game anyway. With it, like buying an Idris, you get 30 people to help buy an Idris. I think that's the idea, isn't it? And yeah, if you've got the spare disposable income, fuck it, why not? If you're an IT professional or whatever profession you do, and you've got like, you're making oil baron money, and you want to support Star Citizen, great. You're effectively pledging and donating. And if you're after a game to play now, wait for Star Citizen as well. Like, Star Citizen's fucking great. I love the project. But if you don't want to get involved in that process of bug hunting, of having an opinion on things, of being given constructive feedback, watching and waiting to see where the project goes, and understanding that your feedback really does help and change the game. If you don't want to get involved in that process, wait for a while, because there's no point in getting involved until there's a full game there, or at least some more tangible gameplay. If you're after a game, that is. If you're like, I want to play a game now, should I get Star Citizen? No, get Elite Dangerous, get Eve, something like that. But for me, though, Star Citizen is this fucking beautiful, amazing project that I love so much. Love so much. Much love. think someone else has donated another $20. Thank you very much. Like, very much appreciated. I don't really know how Super Chat works. But thank you. You're a fucking legend. Yeah, you see, like, people put silly money into computer games. I would spend most of the money, if you wanted to get into Star Citizen, you've got a load of cash, spend most of your money on your rig. And wait as long as you can to build a PC, because obviously, the longer you wait, the better PC you get. And I know that's true, and you could wait forever effectively based on that. But Star Citizen doesn't even have specs for 3.0 planned yet. And the game will be significantly more optimized in the future, like really optimized for stuff. But we don't have drivers, like graphics card drivers written for Star Citizen yet. We don't have the Vulkan integration. We don't have object container streaming. So, that's exactly it, Jeff. You shouldn't have faith in something. You should have trust. Like, you read it, and you're interested in it, and you understand it, and you have trust in it. Great. Don't have faith in it. Faith seems a silly thing to do when it comes to computer games. Like, I really trust CIG. The stuff they bring out each week, mostly, for the most part, they do stuff wrong. Yeah, they fucking do. Like StarKit and the referral competition and stuff getting dates wrong. Like, they don't need to give dates. Why the fuck do they give dates? And then causing disappointment because of that. Talking about the vertical slicing causing disappointment. That's all stuff they've done 100% wrong. But what was I talking about? I've lost my tangent. But yeah, but watch ATV, read about the game, understand it, and if you trust them like I do, then back it. And if you're not interested at the moment, then wait, wait and watch. Yeah, the FPS in 2.6.3 was a massive issue, wasn't it? It's annoying. So I'm waiting for the new i9s and i7s and i9s, the new, whatever the new lakes are. Is it Coffee Lake, the new ones? I'm waiting for them to come out, and then I'm going to decide between that and a Threadripper based on what is better, what is cheaper, what makes more sense for me. I'm going to be using it for recording, rendering, and streaming. And I want to do it all on a single rig. If I do it all on a single rig, I can do 1440p and 4K streaming significantly more easily, if the processor is powerful enough. I mean, have trust. Never have complete trust of anything. I mean, I could be a lizard person. Like, make your own mind up, read stuff, learn stuff, talk to people about things. Just be friendly when you're talking about people, and you're allowed to have problems with CIG, you're allowed to have problems with Star Citizen, you're allowed to have problems with content creators. Just give your feedback to them concisely and friendly. That's the way you got to do stuff, isn't it? But it's important that you have those views, and it's important that you talk about them. But it's not important to, read something that's a title from some sort of bullshit publication that doesn't base anything on facts, and then go, oh, I heard this rumor that CIG is actually front for an alien smuggling ring. I don't know. That was a lot more tamer than where my brain was going. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go Intel or AMD specifically. It's literally what is best for my needs. I'll work it out at the time. I am indeed a motherfucking lizard man. Confirmed. So I will be doing stuff on lore eventually. What I'm going to be doing on the lore, I did a couple of years ago, up till mid-2015. I did all of the lore in a single video. I'll be doing the same up at the end of, or to the mid of this year, probably. To compress all the lore that's interesting and that you might need to know to a small little package. Because people ain't got time for lore, but they kind of want to know bits and bobs because that might give you an advantage in game or give you a bit of knowledge in game. You go, I'm in this system. That means I'm probably going to be fighting Vandal or pirates or space truckers, whatever. No, we'll get 3.0 pretty soon. It's just it's annoying they've delayed it so long. It is annoying. It's going to be a couple of years before we get Star Citizen Beta, definitely. Oh yeah, so Jeff, so there's loads of stuff, and this annoys me actually. Like, I would prefer CIG and Foundry 42 to make advocates of a load of the content creators, because we create stuff for the game because we either love it or we're enthralled by the project or whatever. I'm not paid or endorsed by CIG in any way. I can't speak for all the other content creators, but I'm 99.9% sure that no one's getting money from CIG for any reason to create content on it. The stuff that I've seen at their last 2 studio tours that I've been on, last 2 and only 2, I think, it was pretty awesome. Like, I've seen some work on Squadron 42, I've seen a load of ships and stuff that they haven't even discussed. I've seen lots of cool tech beyond what they've shown, and I'm not sure why they don't show it. It's probably because they're waiting for it to be a little bit more polished or buffed or something. But yeah, the stuff at the studio tours, try and get on one. If you can, you'll have to message CS and say, have you got a studio tour? They get booked up pretty quick, and I think they've probably got a year and a half, like, waiting time now. The stuff you see there is like, you go, oh my fucking god. Because it's not sort of like an on-rails experience. They go, oh, we've got this. They'll show you a couple of things they really want to show you, and then they're like, we can talk to these guys, or these guys, or we can talk to all of them. Do you want to talk to the network code guys? And you, like, give them a load of questions, ask any questions you want. And obviously we're under NDA, so we can't talk about stuff from that part, because everything would need to be checked off a list, and David Swarford would need to get involved and everything like that. But like last time I went there, I got the interview with Aaron, and that was awesome. That was great. Got to ask some cool questions there.
I couldn't choose a sound for being hosted,
I'm hoping that
so
I get to do that regularly in the future as well. Like, I want to... I'm a massive Star Citizen fan, and obviously I love the project, and I have a load of trust in them, but I'll hold them accountable when they do stupid stuff. I'll get annoyed at them. I'm annoyed that 3.0 is now. I think we all are. We all want it. I mean, there's been a content drought for content creators because we're waiting for 3.0, but and it's compounded by them giving us the burn down report instead of a studio report. I want both. But I'm greedy for information. I want all the information. I don't mind if there's delays. I don't really care. As long as they're honest and blunt and give us that information as and when they get it. So we're gonna push towards that. No. I think a lot of people now realise that Star Citizen is a couple of years away from a beta at least, sort of thing. Like, I'm expecting 2019, towards end of 2019, for a beta for the game. I think that's a reasonable expectation to have. Squadron 42, I mean, that could be, I don't know, the stuff that NDA, but the stuff that I saw, it leads me to believe that it was quite far done. It was, the stuff I saw was cool. Evocati. Why do you like the word Evocati? Yeah, we don't know. Obviously, we don't know. But yeah, 2019 beta, 2020 release. That seems reasonable, doesn't it? I mean, a 2023 release just seems a bit far. But I mean, it's all possible, isn't it? We can do a release raffle or something, I suppose. We'll what's it called? Is it a pool? Where we, like, you have to guess the month it's going to come out, or the day it's going to come out, and the year, and whoever's closest wins. We'll do something like that. We'll do something silly.
I couldn't choose a sound for being hosted, so I decided to use this.
Yeah, you can. Jeff, as well, you can always message me. Everyone, if you want to message me anything, like you've got, you want to ask a question, or you want me to do a video on something, or you have an issue with something, or you're like, you want to give me feedback on content, or you've got idea content, or you go, I think you're putting on weight, BoredGamer, you fat bastard, then just message me, feedback@boredgamer.co.uk. Take care, Saurus, mate. I'll talk to you soon as well, bud. I hope the podcast went alright last night. ASC. I'm not sure why I read your name. I just did. Jason Yifong. Yeah, I'll read some random names. Yeah, so that was a while ago. So we had that Gravity Ender Sports game. which I now can't remember the name of. It'll come back to me in a second. What was the game called? Someone will post it in chat in a second, and I'll remember. My brother's fine. He's bruised and battered and pain, but he's not. No, it's not Ender's Game. It's not called Ender's Game. It's an Ender's Game type thing. It was no, it's not called Lone Echo. That's the VR version. Satable. Thank you. Thanks, I am a scrub. Yeah, Satable. Lone Echo is actually very good. So Lone Echo is what they wanted from Satable, but in VR. I am just so bad at it that just you get loads of people, just loads of young guys, well, I assume they're young, just floating past me, punching me, throwing this discus into the goal, and they go, woo! And then just fist bump each other
Tricksy
and
little
thrust and
hobbitses.
stuff. Thank you very much. Obsolete. Oh my god. Obsolete AI. That's your fucking name. See, I can read. I'm heavily dyslexic, okay? And you will notice that if you see my scripts and stuff, I will write a bullet point script, then I'll do a video on it, and then I will transcribe that video into a script that I will then put online, and I'll put it on my Reddit and stuff now. I have really bad trouble reading. If bullet point's great, because I can just go and just talk about it. That's why I like talking. So I think it's important they have Evocati to test stuff, because otherwise people would get really angry. I'm with you on some of that actually. Like I think we should have the game in a much rawer state. I'm not really one for these polished builds. They try and release the game, the alphas, as if they are milestone builds, like you'd have a patch for a released game, which they shouldn't be doing in my opinion. Like, I certainly haven't made a game that's made $160 million, so they're obviously doing something right, and obviously appealing to a lot of people. And it appeals to me what they're doing, it's just, there are some things I'd do differently, and one of them is I'd give the game to us in a really raw state, give us effectively almost developers builds, and let's just spawn stuff in. Let's have those consoles, let's have the tools. That would be amazing. Can you imagine if we had the same tools as Star Citizen? People would be producing their own content, people would be making their own ships and stuff, just constantly. I think that would be amazing. And I assume they make even more money, and it'd be a much more bigger community thing. But that's just my 2 cents on that. I love the look of the 600. I just think the ship doesn't have as much function as significantly cheaper ships. Half the price. And that's because I'm comparing it to IRL stuff. In-game, yeah. In-game, I'll probably buy one with in-game money. Just when I have to look at it and it's $400, $435. Something does a job not as good as something else. I just kind of almost disregard its looks. It's just... Like the Carrack. $350 for a Carrack, which is significantly better. Come on. Well, because people will get mad at stuff. People get mad at stuff, and they've obviously looked at it, and that's the way they've decided they want to do it. And I will keep on the CIG saying I preferred it a different way, but they've kind of done it this way now. So we're about to analyse the game in a lot more detail once they've got some of these milestone releases out. 3.0's out, when Squadron 42 Episode 1's out, and then when the actual beta comes out of Star Citizen, and then live release, we'll have to look at the whole project and then more accurately go, you should have done this differently, you should have done this differently. We can use the power of hindsight to accurately, analytically look through stuff. There might be a lot of reasons that we haven't considered why they do certain things. It does seem to work for them, it's just... I think with Star Citizen, there's a little barrier to entry there. It is, you need a relatively good PC, it's fiddly to get working, the controls are fiddly, and I don't mind there being an extra one, just having console commands and just having a really raw state. I'm of that more old school breed of, I go to a LAN party and expect to get 2 hours of gameplay over a weekend, because none of the games work and I have to fiddle around with the games for ages. Because now LANs are like, everyone's got the games pre-installed and everything works and stuff. I quite liked getting things to work. I liked gaming when it wasn't so mainstream. Oh, someone's knocking at the door. Bear with me 1 second. Someone is answering the door, which is good. When the game drops, okay, so Arena Commander and Star Marine will use Rec, and that will be literally you earn Rec in game from playing Star Marine and Arena Commander, and then you can rent gear and weapons for Arena Commander and Star Marine with that Rec. In the persistent universe, Rec is effectively not used, and UEC is used. So in the short term, from between now and probably beta, Alpha UEC is going to be used, which will get wiped every so often. Any purchase that you've made with Alpha UEC will be wiped every so often, and that will literally just be UEC that you've earned in-game during the Alpha state of the game. But eventually, that will change into UEC, and your purchases will effectively be permanent on your accounts, and everything will be done with in-game money. So eventually we'll have UEC being used properly, but they're not used in... Rec isn't used in the persistent universe, and UEC pretty much isn't used in Arena Commander and Star Marine, although probably if you own something with UEC, it will probably be permanently attached to your account while you own it with in Star Marine and Arena Commander, probably. I think that's the intention. Do you think there'll be some function that will stop your ship, let's assume, blowing up so you can eventually use your escape pod? Yes, so ships will have longer times to kill. It'll be as simple as that. Ships will have longer times to kill, and they won't always just explode and die. Like, the ships will be much more likely to be disabled in the future. There'll be various types of death flourish that will take time. You'll be able to see reactor cores and stuff going critical, so you'll have time to escape. And obviously, some people will just continue to pummel you while you're going your death flourish to try and finish you off. But there'll be significantly higher times to kill in the larger ships as well. That's the intention, anyway. So yes, escape pods, repairing on the fly, all that sort of stuff. All that gameplay is really important. Rerouting power. You imagine the capital ship battles that we've seen.
I didn't choose a sound for being hosted, so I decided to use this.
Capital ship battles that we've seen are... Thank you very much for the host, by the way. The Idris didn't have their shields up, and their time to kill was really low. So that's not going to be the intention in the future. Luxury freelancers. Yeah, I'm disappointed they didn't have a snub fighter as well. I think it can carry the its Origin rover. The expectation is that it can carry the Origin rover and possibly the X1 open canopy bike as well. Yeah, so they are releasing DLC. Obviously, the DLC is free for Star Citizen. Star Citizen is going to be pay buy to play. You buy a copy of the game, then you play it. There's no subscription charges or anything like that. In the future, we don't know how that's going to evolve. We don't know exactly what they're going to use to raise funds for the Persistent Universe to fund it over 10 years. They said they're going to use the purchase of UEC and stuff and game packages, but they might do aesthetics. They'll explore what makes sense, and we as a community will stop them from doing anything stupid. But we'll come to that bridge if it happens. Yes, let them eat cake. Let them fly their battle merchantman. More the 890 jumps. Fuck that. Yeah, so a lot of the ships are going to have that good solo appeal. Like the 600 will be relatively okay to fly solo, but then getting like a Aquila or a Taurus or something that's significantly cheaper. Oh my god. Like Lone Echo and Echo Arena. So I'm really bad at Echo Arena. So probably because people will laugh at me. Tonight we'll be playing some Bridge Crew, and maybe we might play some Echo Arena. Yeah, we do. On the Discord and on the Reddit and stuff, we'll organise some VR stuff as well at some point soon in the next few weeks. Yeah, so it's great that everything's diegetic in Star Citizen, that mobiGlass showing off your stamina and everything in-game without having like concepts of bullshittery with your health number displayed constantly outside of your HUD. So yeah, that's cool. The mobiGlass is cool. I don't know. I will ask CIG if I can get on the next tour after CitizenCon. Like, they're busy with that. I know they are. If I ask them now about anything, they'll be like, yes, we're having one soon. We'll see what we can do. It'll be like, I assume they'll brush me off. I know when to ask CIG about stuff. I believe that CIG is entirely backer money.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
I think the original thing, right, Cyclo? The love. Woo! Woo! No, that was rude. Woo! Thanks. Yeah, so I believe the original like concepty thing that Chris made was with his own money, and then everything else is backer money. And they've pledged that all the money they earn. This is one of the reasons that every dollar of what they earn up until the game's released. I'm not sure if that actually means Squadron 42's release, or both Squadron 42 and Star Citizen's release. They will be going into the game, so they have to spend that on the game. They can't generate profit for the company. They can't give it out to shareholders or anything like that. They have to spend it on the game, which is good because you like. It's nice to know that they'll be doing that. They haven't really spent any money on advertising, have they? Like, that's all done virally, effectively. Thank you very much for the $10, bro. Fucking love your face. Oh my god. Thank you so much for all the donations and stuff, guys. I'm not sure if I'll put the YouTube donations in manually afterwards, because I don't think they're showing on that new CPU and recording streaming thing at the bottom. 3.0 is not out yet, no. Unless you were at Gamescom, in which case you played their locked build there. No, you need to drink more, a little bit of madness. That's my pro tip for you. Do you think Twerk will report? No, like, so genuine prayers or whatever is appropriate to send good thoughts to anyone that has to deal with that hurricane. If you are mandatorily being evacuated and decide to stay for some reason, then be safe. Hope everyone's okay. Hope Twerk's okay. Hope everyone's around there's okay. Just be safe. That's hell. I'm sorry you have to go through that shit. Yeah, so when I was talking to Aaron Roberts at the last studio tour I was at, they said they will probably use traditional media to sell Squadron 42 to some states, to some aspect. So I expect to see like adverts online, expect to see stuff in magazines, and it will go on the schedule report apparently as well when Squadron 42 is closer to being released, which is cool. Yeah, I want 3.0 pretty badly as well. Everyone does. Yeah, totally correct. Everyone wants that. But it's, I mean, after 8 months, what's another few weeks? That's a shitty thing to say. So the last thing we heard about procedural cities, the last thing we've heard about them is that they're working on them. I was expecting to see them at Gamescom. I'm hoping to see them at CitizenCon, or if not at CitizenCon, then they'll have to show us an ATV soon, because I know they're working on them. I know they've got some stuff for them. Not sure why they haven't shown them, even if it's in a really rough state. No date for the next CIG Interview tour yet. I'll ask them after CitizenCon. Yeah, I hope he's alright. I hope Twerk is going to be okay. He's very sensible, Twerk, so just worry about him and Lola.
I couldn't choose a sound for being hosted, so I decided to use
thank you very much, Twerk. Much appreciated. Just talking about you, bro. Hope you're a good man. Be safe from hurricanes.
I couldn't choose a sound for being hosted, so I decided to use
Thank you very much. Oh, lots of hosts. Thank you. Much appreciated. Fucking love you guys. Adventure Titan, Renegade, or Gladius? Which is better for combat space round? Oh. Oh, the Gladius is probably the best there in atmosphere. Like the Gladius is supposed to be an older combat ship, whereas the rest of them are sort of like geared to be multi-role. The Avenger Titan is quite like police cruiser-esque. Like that's what the especially the Renegade. I don't know. We won't know until we actually have them in our hands and they've been balanced. But you look at it though, like the Gladius is originally, and then I shouldn't do this, but I kind of will. Gladius is effectively a $90 ship, and the Titan is a $50 ship. The Gladius's intention is probably better to be more specifically better at combat. Yes, the planets and moons look amazing. They look really fucking fantastic. And this is the gameplay footage that Maya, Gamble, and DJ Knight were playing. I mean, Jeff, you don't have any facts or anything to back that up at all. I don't think that they can financially hold that line in the future. You don't know. You can't know that. Although saying that with the console stuff, I mean, I think they'll explore whatever financially makes sense for them once they've released that game for PC, once they've released it for Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, Episode 1. They could do a lot of different things. I hate Quake Champions. Okay, I love old school deathmatch games and that sort of stuff. Fucking great. When you're making a class system for a deathmatch game, there's always going to be one class that is significantly better, or at least a little bit better, that everyone will then play. Okay, and I just don't like it because of that. It's like, why are you putting classes in? Have different models, great. Don't have different classes. Jesus God. Ugh. You have the class power-ups, just have them as power-ups on the floor. You pick up and you go, oh, I've got the invisibility perk, or I've got the spit acid perk, or whatever. Just, classes in a deathmatch game. No. I'm sorry, it's really annoys me. Oh, see, you think I'm playing 3.0. No, it's a video in the background. So, I think I couldn't find the source for this information, and it wasn't from my studio tour, so I had to check that wasn't in my book of secrets. I believe that the Connie, the intention was they were trying to get it launchable and dockable with the Connie, the Parasite docking in 3.0. I think that was on a happy hour they said that, but I haven't heard anything more since that, and it hasn't appeared online on the forums or anything, so I don't know. Oh. I would expect
Tricksy little
600's loner.
10 months. Holy hell. Just to think, back in the day 300 days ago we were all hyped for. Look how far we've all come. Bored WTF.
Thanks, Pro. See, Dizzle, I fucking love your face. It's a long time. I'm the worst streamer ever, but thank you very much. Very much appreciated. 10 months you've been subbed. Jeez. Been subbed almost as much long as we've been waiting for 3.0. So ship sales for CitizenCon. I suspect we'll see loads of ships on sale. Concept-wise, though, it's going to be like probably the X1, the new open canopy racer. But there could be the Spider Miner. There could be the Saber Raven, if that's still a thing. That Saber Raven. There's going to be a new vehicle from Tumbril. There's the game-changing ship. I'm not sure when that's going on concept sale. I know people get annoyed when I talk about the Game Changer, and they're like, what is the Game Changer? It is a ship that Ben Lesnick mentioned. It will go on concept sale at some point. I believe I have discerned what it was from my studio tour. But they didn't say this is the Game Changer. I was like, oh, that has to be the Game Changer, because it's mechanically adding stuff that, you know... Said too much. I cannot confirm or deny. There will be new network code implemented in 3.0, which should, and they've said that there's going to be better performance in 3.0. We don't know exactly what it's going to be like until it's in our hands. They have got some new things in 3.0, but not all of it, network code-wise. So 3.1 should bring a load more after this.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Thank you very much, Craig Robin. Fucking love your face. No, that's the back end stuff. No, that's the graphic stuff. I went past, like, I've gone past it multiple times. So we've got the new message queue, we've got physics serialization, we've got physics and other processes moved to different cores, so multi-threading will be better, and the persistent data refactor and object container streaming setup, but not really utilizing any of the bonuses from that. 3.1, we should see bind culling, which is major, and we should see the start of object container streaming being used, and then improvements to the network code. So I'm expecting some improvement with 3.0. Need to get into our hands first, though, before I can justify that. I'm asserting that without facts. So you can dismiss it as quickly as that. I'd say that Star Citizen will probably take, and I pull this number out of my ass, 200 million in total to build the way they want to do it. I mean, I'm expecting that pre-release, so by 2019, they easily have 250 million. That's my feeling, because as they get more and more stuff out, as they've got Squadron 42 and stuff out, they will accrue a load more backing and funding for the game. And I think they will have more than enough money to complete the game and support it for quite a long time before needing to look to other funding models or whatever, if they ever need to. I have played Mount and Blade. I will be playing Bannerlord, the Mount and Blade 2, when it comes out. Cameron is a massive fan of that as well. I play lots of games with Cameron. So once he's finished with CitizenCon and whatever, I'll just hopefully play games with him again. I am a few minutes behind on chat, so bear with me, guys. Fuck that game, man. Fuck Quake Champions, man. Trying to make everything into Overwatch. Nah. Fix Overwatch, Blizzard. Jeez. There's a massive amount of fidelity in the game, which is great. I would like to see the core concepts come online before they polish stuff, and that's the reasons I'm slightly against the polishing of alphas they do. But I'd like to see the game changer unveiled at CitizenCon. I'd like to see mechanical ships, ships that I'd like to see a smaller salvage ship. I'd like to see smaller ships, like single or two-man ships that can do lots of different tasks, specific mechanics. Tumble Cyclone's cool. We know they're going to be doing other tracked vehicles. They're going to be doing tanks and stuff as well. Tumble vehicle.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Great. Thank you very much. PH King. Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Woo. The Tumbrel gave us a load of. It was the first showing of the ground-to-air based vehicles had that, even if it was just crappy missiles. It showed us that they were going to have the intention to have ground combat and that vehicles were going to be a part of that. I need to see the Tumbrel in action before I can justify it again. I bought a Tumbrel. I think someone actually might have given me a Tumbrel. But I want to see how they compare to the Dragonfly and the Nox and the X1 and stuff. Those sort of things, I think they're cool, but I'm not sure if they're going to be useful. I mean, some of these vehicles are going to be like, well, we're never going to use this one because these ones are better. And that costs us almost the same. I've not watched Little Witch Academia. Is that an anime? $158 million, isn't it? 168. I don't know, but semantics. No, so the barriers to entry to play Star Citizen rig-wise, I mean, they'll be diminishing significantly. PCs are getting significantly cheaper for a year. There's more accessibility to them, but also Star Citizen will get, polished and then optimized. At the moment, it's just not. So the rigs that people are going to be building for 3.0 are going to be a lot more powerful, most certainly, than they're going to need for the actual fully released game. I am an avocado, yes. I'm an avocado. I can't talk about the content of avocado builds. I sort of can talk about them after they've released the PTE to the wider audience. Sort of. Spirit of the NTA is just not be a dick. So they've talked about frame rates being better, and that's one of the things they're polishing at the moment. Let me actually find that. Who've decided to spend time increasing performance on client and server side, improvement over overall frame rate. And they're improving the amount of players that can be on servers. They were having issues a while ago with when they were getting more players, 12 to 15 on in the same area. So they were trying to get that out. I expect at least 24 with 3.0. So if you go on the issue council and report bugs and give feedback on bugs and vote on bugs that you want fixed, then you're more likely to get chosen for the avocado. You need to be an active member of the issue council. Yeah, so there's no proper medical gameplay yet, and that's going to be done relatively soon, I'm assuming. They want downed animations, they want about to drag people, they want lots of stuff for the medical stuff that is being done in the not too distant future. I think a lot of it is actually. I'm gonna do these. I'm gonna do one of these streams, something similar to this, either on Friday evenings for me or over the weekend, so that we've just seen. ATV, and we've just seen the schedule report and stuff, so we can have this information fresh rather than 6 days later. But that's drowning. You can see there. That's been done at the end of the summer. Down states, which are important for medical system. Looting, so that's going to be player looting, I'm assuming, and proper NPC looting. And I don't think we have any forms of NPCs, combat-based NPCs on planets in 3.0, although I might be surprised. I don't think I will be. I think that will be 3.1. Stamina system. I was looking for medical stuff on this graph and link the graph to people that are interested. Actually show you the graph, that would probably help, wouldn't it? So you can see drownings there. You can see down states are there. Looting, which is so this is the this was updated on the 8th. No, this was updated the 31st, so a week ago. This is the rough schedule beyond stuff. When people are like, oh, the dates have gone for everything, they haven't. They're here. They're just not displayed in the same way. So those of these ships are actually done now, but I doubt they'll make 3.0, just because they're almost certainly lightly content locked 3.0, so they don't have to go, oh, there's a billion more bugs because we keep on adding content. They can add content all they fucking want after they get 3.0 out, because they have the Delta patch coming with 3.0 as well, which means they can iterate on patches as much as they want throughout a week without it costing them huge amounts of bandwidth sending it to us, and they can have those quick. Oh, we've released a new ship. Bam. We've got a little mini update. We've got balance update. We've got graphics update. We've got crash fixes. They can do that really quickly and easily if they wanted to after 3.0 and the Delta patch reset. Yeah, that graph's cool. Like, gives us all the information we need. Be updated on Friday. I suspect the 3.1, 3.2 goals are severely changed. But 3.1, so after 3.0, we're going to see mining, loads more ships, and then much better networking with bind culling, and also the object container streaming starting to get implemented. That will get further implemented in 3.2, and then we're going to start to see the rest of the system built out. So hopefully we should have pretty much all of the Stanton system by the end of 3.2. That's what their patching methodology seems to be now. Major mechanics and major content will get a X change, so 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. But minor content with the Delta patches should all get point content, so it'll be 3.0.1. They will have new ships, we'll have the Vanguards, whatever, all of the variants. I believe that's the idea. That will be fucking changed anyway. Oh, I just wish they gave us more up-to-date information on that stuff. At CitizenCon, I'm really hoping they give us where they see all of the mechanics being placed in the major patch releases. They don't give us times and dates, they just need to say 3.1 is going to have mining and salvage. 3.2 is going to have bam, bam, bam. I just want that updated, because that stuff changes. I just want to know where they see it. I don't know, I haven't tried the Horizon yet. 1060 graphics cards are absolutely great though. I haven't actually tried Horizon 3. You can play the PU offline, yep. It's good frame rates. I did want to look at the last week's ATV. Let's have a quick look at quantum questions.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Quantum Questions, where we take a CIG developer, put them on the hot seat, and make...
Is that alright volume-wise? I'm going to deafen everyone. 4790Ks are great processors. Still amazing. Cool.
Make them answer as many questions as they can in under 2 minutes. Joining us on the hot seat today is character artist out of Cloud Imperium Games Los Angeles, Mr. Shane Hessler. Shane, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Nobody ever asks, how's Disco? Hey, Disco, how you doing? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Thanks for saying that, Matt Sherman. Much appreciated. Delta Patch will be great, but it won't sidestep proper development workflow. So, yeah, they're still going to have to do all the processes that they do, and they're still going to have to test stuff. They're still going to have to look at testing stuff with PTU patches and that sort of stuff. But it should hopefully allow for a better patching methodology.
All right, Shane, how you think you're going to do, man?
I think I'm going to pass with flying colors.
All right, well, 70% is passing. Let's go ahead and put 2 minutes on the clock. Let's see if I can get through this without forgetting what my words are. And begin. What is your name and what do you do?
My name is Shane Hessler. I'm a character artist here at CIG LA.
What armors or outfits have you worked on?
I've worked on all 3 of the Slaver variants, including the light, medium, and heavy, as well as the RSI Explorer suit and the Legacy Medium Marine, which we recently debuted.
How many polygons are in a typical armor set?
On an average typical armor set, it could range anywhere between 50 and 60,000 polygons. We try to model the interior and exterior of the armor sets so players can't see through the armors and they appear to be whole pieces.
Okay. What program is used to capture the character's high poly render?
For the high poly renders, we use a program called Keyshot, which is a GPU-based renderer that allows us to render and visualize our high poly characters in real time as we throw temporary materials and lighting on them.
Okay. How many steps are there in a character art process?
For our character art pipeline, we run through 4 steps, including our high poly, which is where we're sculpting and concepting out our characters. Then we optimize those high polys with the low poly stage for the game. And then we throw textures on there that allow us to drive the materials, which we finish at as our last step, adjusting materials.
How does modularity fit into the character pipeline?
So with modularity, we build our characters to be as customizable as possible. So anything that's modular has to be able to fit with any other item in a character. So whether that be a helmet, armor piece, legs, or arms, all these modular pieces have to be able to fit together.
Okay. And what skill sets are helpful in the 3D character art field?
As a 3D character artist, it's very important to have a very strong background in traditional art. So knowing your
Alcohol stuff,
form,
mate.
anatomy, and design helps drive whatever we may do in the 3D world of art.
I don't wash my hands, I just wash my dick.
You got them all.
Smart.
Good job.
So, good job. So, one of the things that CIG do with Star Citizen is they make everything super modular and super customizable. So, Item System 2.0 has allowed all this communication between systems and ships. So, your scanners will communicate with your other stuff, and your power plant communicates with everything that it needs to send power to, and all these systems can be destroyed individually, and they can all have all their the heats can be different. They can be taken off by coolers, and the amount of power getting to the systems will generate extra heat and all this sort of stuff. So that's really cool, and you can change all those systems around, and there's going to be loads of different systems for that. But that also works with the characters and the character weapons as well. Those characters are going to be really modular. You're going to put modular armor on them for arms and legs and stuff, and on your suits, and your weapons are going to be able to have all these different rail systems and mods and stuff on them. It's cool. I really like what they've done on the Item System 2.0. I really like the fact that everything is down to that standardization now. I think that's one of the problems they had with the original Star Marine that was built by Ilphonic. It was built to a different system, I think, and that caused some issues. I want to look at the faceware thing again. Turn this volume down a lot.
Hi there, everyone. I'm Sean Tracy, and for those that don't know me, I'm the Technical Director of Content here at Cloud Imperium Games. And today, I'm really lucky to be able to show you a feature that I'm personally really excited about. And this is a collaboration between Faceware Technologies and Cloud Imperium Games. And what a...
So I believe, Ted, that the planets and moons are 1/4 to 1/6 size, and the solar systems are 1/10 size.
What I'm going to show you is how we've integrated facial tracking into Star Citizen. So to start showing this technology, the first thing I want to enable is the Live SDK technology. So the collaboration between Cloud Imperium Games and Faceware, and here I am. You can see that there's a bunch of different dots on my face, and these are landmark points that we use for facial tracking, and the tracking is quite intelligent. So as I turn my head and a face is lost, we actually disable the facial tracking. And if I turn this way, this is handy for things like occlusion. So if your hand gets in the way, maybe a pen gets in the way, we disable the facial tracking at those instances. Now, you're not here to see my face. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this actually maps to a character. So you may recognize this gentleman. This is Liam Cunningham, who plays Captain White in Squadron.
So this technology isn't that revolutionary or anything. I mean, it's been around for a while. It's just because it's on such high fidelity models, and it's being handled outside of the actual, outside of Star Citizen's in-game stuff. Effectively, it's going to be driven by Spectrum in the background, I think. And that will be running behind the Spectrum overlay, and that will be handling the voice over IP and face over IP, I believe. And we'll find out probably more about it at CitizenCon, because Faceware have said, mark it in your calendar to find out more about our revolutionary technology. And they've probably got a very good system of doing this, doing it like better. But it's very simple tech, and it's going to be pretty cool for Star Citizen if you're into that. If you're not into that, then doesn't matter. You might like, oh, they don't need this. Well, they don't. You don't need this in game, but it does add to how pretty stuff is, and how the fidelity and the interaction. Playing a load of VR stuff recently, voice over IP is so important, but having people's mouths move and that extra interaction does really fuck it up.
142. One of the really important things to notice, or to note rather, is that this is still early days with this technology. We're doing a lot to map and to improve the quality of the actual tracking, as well as adding new phonemes in to...
I can't remember with Delamar. I think I can't remember.
The tracking so that the runtime logic reacts exactly as we expect it to. So this is never meant to be a replacement for facial animation, but rather something for the players to be able to run and to drive an actor in real time, or a character rather in real time. This will be exciting for community endeavors like machinima videos, or maybe even getting integrated.
This would be massive for machinima. I'll talk to Torellian again at some point. I know he works for CIG now. He's probably not going to be doing machinima specifically for Star Citizen for that reason. But in the future, I hope to see a lot of Star Citizen machinima.
Integrated to character creators so that you can make your character, but then you can
I think
even
it's one of the other things, actually. It's because the way the rigs drive the face. That's what looks really fucking good here.
see how they would express themselves given different inputs of emotions. So I just wanted to pull his face around a little bit so you can see the reactions of our runtime rig logic. So to explain how this all kind of works is that we've got a bunch of outputs that happen from the Live SDK technology, and then through a layer called motion.
Well, it's because they effectively third-partied this off, didn't they? They went, you work on that, we'll get this done. So it's ready when it's ready, and it's getting towards ready state now. So yeah, it doesn't really matter when they start working on it.
Logic, we map all of that to inputs of our runtime rig, and since every character within Star Citizen has its own unique runtime rig created dynamically, they will always react appropriately to whatever the inputs are. So it won't exactly be my blinks, it'll be Liam Cunningham's blinks. You can see even things like the ears moving when the scalp moves.
I don't like the way the beard clips into his face. You notice that? Something I want to avoid, that form of clipping. He looks great.
And we even track the eyes.
It does track the eyes. Fuck.
So let's go ahead and show how actually different bits of rig logic might react a little bit differently, giving a different character, essentially. So we've gone from a tier 0 rig down to a tier 2 rig. And the only real difference is that this is more indicative of what a player will have. And truly what changes is just the blend shapes, as well as the wrinkle maps that play on the specific player. So this is Steiger. You might recognize him from Pupil to Planet videos.
The rigs, even the lower end rigs are still pretty beautiful. Hair's awful.
The mapping is changing very dramatically. This is Haynes. Haynes is a very different face than really I have, obviously. And it works at all different distances. If we start pulling out, you can see that the map.
So I think there's going to be if you don't have a camera, you'll probably be able to just drive your lips through audio. I think that it will work with any camera, they basically said. And it does track your eyes as well, which is cool. And head tracks.
Mapping still holds up. As Belosa, he has really quite nice wrinkle maps that happen on the side of his face. So if I pull my face to the side. Where this feature really comes into its own is in the combination of it with our VoIP technology. All right, so here we are in multiplayer. You should be seeing me speak from Vincent's perspective, and this is all being sent over the network and unwrapped on the client side.
Yeah, so someone sent me a video on GTA 5 roleplay. On some of their roleplay servers, and it was really extreme roleplay. It was really fucking cool. Like everyone was really, really into it. And not a sexy thing, but yeah, it's going to be massive for Star Citizen, that roleplay kind of stuff. I think the issue is that when you're all in the same server together, with some people that aren't roleplaying and some people that are roleplaying, that's when you need to make sure worlds can collide, but they collide in a way that doesn't break immersion for the role players much, and doesn't make the people that aren't role playing go, what the hell is going on here?
So Vincent was kind enough to get a couple staff together so that we can show you this feature. Thanks a lot for doing that, Vincent.
No problem. That's what we're here for.
Awesome. So I think one of the best ways that we can do this is maybe just everyone introduce themselves real quickly.
Okay, I'll go ahead and start. My name is Vincent Sinatra. I'm the QA manager here in Los Angeles.
My name is Julia Wilson. I'm a QA senior here in Los Angeles.
And I'm Andrew Hernando. I am a QA tester here in Los Angeles.
Awesome. So maybe to show how this can really sort of be driven from the player side, Vincent, you've really got some good eyebrow tracking. Why don't you show me those eyebrows? Right on, that looks cool.
We have no idea when Star Citizen will be released. Like, no one will know. I'm expecting 2019 for a beta. That's what I'm expecting. Star Citizen. Yeah.
Julia, show me happy. That's pretty close.
Wow.
All right, and then Andrew, why don't you show me some angry? That's perfect. Fantastic. We've talked about how this feature can work on a consumer level web camera. However, here's Peter Bush from Faceware to talk about a motion sensor they've developed specifically for this feature.
Hi, my name's Peter Bush. I'm one of the co-founders of Faceware Technology.
This is one of the things, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it now, actually, fuck it, before it goes on. So, buying a camera for this, because they're going to have their own camera that you can buy for a better experience, okay? It's going to be one of the first things that you buy for someone else's better experience, because you're buying these Faceware cameras for someone else to see your facial expressions. Now, that might be like a requirement of some RP guilds, so like you have to have a really good camera, and it has to be done up to this, you have to be able to show this range of emotion. But it's just an odd concept to me, to buying something for someone else's benefit when it comes to gameplay stuff, like that kind of camera. I will be trying to use my C920 and C922s and seeing and other cheap webcams and seeing the best experience we can get out of them. Very much so. So don't buy stuff unless you need to.
Technologies in Faceware Interactive. Faceware is a facial motion capture company. We create hardware and software products that can create animation simply from video. About a year ago, Cloud Imperium asked us to do something we've never done before. Integrate our real-time technology into Engine and allow game characters to interact and emote in real time, but by being live driven by the players themselves. This is quite an engineering challenge, but I knew my teams in Austin and Los Angeles could collaborate with the incredibly talented Cloud Imperium development team to make this happen. The new VoIP feature will work with nearly any camera, but we were asked what's going to create the best possible experience. So we set out to engineer the first gaming device designed specifically for facial tracking. Here it is, the first prototype facial motion sensor. This is the first one off the production line. Now, there are many specs about this device that are going to give you the best possible experience for facial tracking. First, the image sensor runs at 60 frames per second. Now, while that's important, is the way in which our technology works. From one video frame to the next, we basically can create an animated result. Meaning what we see in that first video frame, we're going to analyze the expression on your face, and by the next video frame, we have that animated result. So the faster that frame rate is running, the faster you're going to be able to keep up and get that performance. And at 1/25th or 1/30th of a second, which is common in most webcams, it might not keep up and your lip sync might not read. But at 1/60th of a second, now the words that you're saying are going to be spoken by your character running in-game. Now second, we looked at where most common you're going to be using this device. And more often than not, you're only going to be lit by the light coming from your monitor. So the sensor had to work in a low light environment.
We'll see what we can do with it.
So we selected a 1/3 inch, 3.4 megapixel sensor
really fucking good.
that's capable of 720 or 1080 at 60 frames per second in a near dark environment. Third,
I'm one of the people that would get the most use out of this, like for creating content, for doing stuff with my character in game and stuff. It has to be really fucking good for me to justify buying one.
Most webcams are a wide-angle lens, which makes your face a little bit smaller in frame and a lot less facial details and facial pixels for our technology to capture and track. So we selected a single user field of view. Now this allows our technology to basically get more pixels from your face from that frame and get the best possible facial details into Engine.
Give me hair though.
Now fourth, we put on a high-resolution glass lens that's going to resolve that data and give us the best possible and sharpest focus for facial tracking. These specs are going to allow you to have the best possible experience with the new VoIP feature. While this is only a prototype, we're going to go into mass production and we're going to bring this to you. We've been working on this technology for nearly 7 years, but this is the first game that's wanted to integrate this into Engine and allow character-to-character communication like you've never seen before. We're excited to bring this to Star Citizen, and we can't wait to see what you do with it.
All right, so as you've seen, it's still early days and we've got a little bit more.
That's cool. I mean, I'm really excited about the VoIP and the VoIP. I mean, VoIP is essential for me, but the VoIP isn't essential, but it's cool, and I do think it will make the game a lot more fun. After playing VR games where it's used, you do go, oh, okay, yeah, this is going to be good for what they want to do. Well, I'm just saying, I don't know how much the device is going to be. Yeah, it can't be more than $150, can it? It has to be less than that. But I don't know. We'll have a look. I mean, that sort of stuff I can go, no, don't buy that shit, or it's great, or whatever. We don't know how much it's going to be. We'll find probably more out about it at CitizenCon, probably. So, no, I believe they're getting it working with VR stuff as well. So it's all they're looking at VR at the same time. It's going to be the next couple of phases. Going to be seeing what they can do with VR as well. So at the moment, it's irrelevant because we can't even buy them, and we don't have that technology in the game at the moment for us to use. So we'll have to approach it and analyze it as we see it. We will have some character editing ability in 3.0. Little goggly eyes on your VR headset, so it's tracking your eyes. You're going everywhere. So is there anything in particular people want to ask? I mean, feel free to ask some more questions. I'm going to go eat in a minute, you see, and then I'll be streaming later with Bridge Crew and some other VR stuff with some people online. Let's see if there's anything new on Reddit. Some people's 4K pictures are pretty sexy. On your Reddit, we've got a Discord, which I'm interacting with a lot. We're playing games and stuff, using those as well. What have we got? Anything interesting happening this week? We've got a happy hour tomorrow. We've got ATV tonight, which will be about stamina and then the burn down. So we'll see some more of the progress we have on 3.0. And obviously tomorrow is where we see it in a bit more detail on the production report, the schedule report. I think tomorrow I'll probably stream a bit more and we might look at some of the lore stuff on ATV. Let's watch some of this ATV in a second, actually. Anything new from the dev tracker? Someone agreeing with me that the ETF doesn't need a polished build. They're under NDA. And then I've thought about it a bit more and went, oh, there's probably reasons why, and there's blockers and stuff that might prevent the Evocati being able to test some of the stuff they want them to test, so there's no real point in giving it to them. I'm hoping to see this bug count drop quickly now, or at least quicker than it has been. And well, certainly not going up anymore. That'd be good, wouldn't it? What else have we got? Do we have anything else this week? Anything massive last week? Those Maxox. Big guns, pew 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 pew, neutron repeaters. They're called. I was doing a Star Citizen face. Let's watch some ATV. What of ATV do I want to watch? We don't need to watch the behind the things at Gamescom. Let's just watch the burn down from last week.
For today, including a feature that goes behind the scenes at Gamescom.
But first, it's time to check in with the dev team on our 3.0 progress. Let's see what bugs.
Yeah, I'm expecting 20 bugs plus fixed a week at the moment. Kind of my target.
Bugs have been smashed, and which new ones flared up in this week's burn down.
Burn down!
Welcome back to Burndown, our weekly show dedicated to reviewing progress on issues blocking the release of Star Citizen Alpha 3.0. Last week, we
cannot confirm or deny that's the reason that Evocati exists.
Ended at 67 total must-fix issues that were prioritized as 7 blockers, 36 criticals, 20 highs, 4 moderates, and 0 trivials. So let's see how this week went.
So one of the things that most studios do, and we do here in Los Angeles, is we have triage weekly where we go through the bugs we've got in and we assess what their impact is, what their value for the fix is, and more importantly, what we can do and in what order we can accomplish things to support the long-term goals of 3.0.
that there should be ship sales at CitizenCon, and almost certainly a concept sale as well.
Well, currently we have a sprint going for quantum travel experience and the turrets experience as well, which I believe I've mentioned before.
There's lots of issues with quantum travel that they found. So like people going to the same quantum travel destination point at the same time, they crash into each other, they come out of the same place. Some people would teleport into the sun. So they've been fixing stuff like that.
We want to make sure that quantum travel and turrets are both to a level where, with the Item 2.0 implementation of these things, we want to make sure that they're properly reflecting how it is we want to have them in the game and where we envisage them going further in the future.
So someone said the flight models on the planets don't look right. So on the moons do have lower gravity, but I know what you mean. They certainly don't look right. They hover, and when the ships go like upside down, they're just like they are in space. They need to get that fixed. They need them to have much more weight on moons, even if they've got lower gravity. Those moons, they still have gravity. I expect ships that flip over, that don't have like VTOL thrusters all over the fucking place, to just hit the ground and stuff. I want that weight to them. I need to feel that in atmosphere, and I want to, like, when they get hit by a rocket that knocks them off, or when you do a maneuver that you don't do it quite right, that it makes you spin out, or it makes you hit the ground, or it jars you properly. It's something you wouldn't get in space. I do think that atmospheric flight is really important, and they need to get that right. And it didn't feel right in the 3.0 build that we saw at Gamescom.
So we have current sprints active for those at the moment to make sure that is all working and tied together nicely. Similarly for the cockpit experience as well, that ranges from everything from G4.
Look, okay, and are you taking the piss out of his hair lightly because it's a bit messy? But at least he's got fucking hair, yeah? Come on. I'm just an egg. Come on, guys.
Force reactions, hit reactions when you're being shot at, to the general interaction around in the cockpit itself.
A lot of things are almost completed in terms of the missions, but I'm getting to a stage where I'm blocked by a lot of issues. Okay. I think missions are like 85% completed and ready for a review, but these extra couple of blockers would just push us over the line. And I've got prioritized JIRAs out for that with Janine already.
The mission system is going to be under review with the directors in the coming days to see what the progress has been on the missions that we currently have, and get any feedback of how on the mission flow, various steps, how they play out, and any feedback that is then received from them, we'll have to evaluate that and come to an agreement with them on how much.
Yes, even in 3.0, planets will orbit and rotate, and moons will. So the sun in the system, the star in the system, will naturally generate night and day cycles. It's a thing there. It's not a faked skybox.
How much we're able to get done and how long that will take, and then from that we see how much work is remaining based on their feedback.
Then I thought I'd show a bug I've been working on for 3.0. It's about a week old. The bug is the airlocks need moving down slightly. Because since you're standing here as a player, you wouldn't be pressing, like the animations for pressing this panel wouldn't actually hit the panel itself. It would hit somewhere below here because you'd be standing on a much lower elevation. So the bug request is for the airlocks to be moved down or everything else to be moved up. So it's a pretty clear-cut case of one way or the other. You have to solve this problem of the elevation being different. So this is a classic case of where you could do it the right way, which then
the economy for the game is the thing that probably interests me the most. That bringing everything in together in the game, like economy and industry. That's what I love in games.
Be to move everything up, as you see here, or everything down. But where, if you would do that, there would be so many implications of you accidentally causing other problems for other people, because you see the.
So this isn't a huge bug for the Eva Carti, but this would have probably been a blocker, because.
In here,
get into the lift.
There's vaulting markup, there are loads of volumes, visit areas, there are loads of things going on. And if we see on the outside, there's the same, where there's like lots of assets, there's AI going around here, there are nav meshes, all kinds of things that you don't want to accidentally break for someone else, to cause even more work. So that's a good case of where you have to sort of break the rules of what's conventionally good in game development and kind of go for the simpler option, which is you build a little stupid ramp so that the players don't stand down on the floor, they stand on the ramp, and the animations play correctly.
Of stepping on steps need to be done.
And funnily as that was, I solved that bug, and then it turns out that there was another existing bug, not to do with content or art in any way, exactly in this area where you sort of see, here's a video of this bug, where when the player goes here, you see they start freaking out. Here that there's clearly something happening here, like that there's bouncing, something physical just in this area is sort of happening and affecting the player. And this bug was then passed around to programming. It was the talk of network issues maybe being the cause. It was very localized, like no one could figure out exactly why is it happening here. And then this submit goes in, and voila, and resolves both bugs somehow.
So I was thank you very much, Crizzy Hillbilly. Crizzy. I was flying like about a year ago with the Star Citizen UK guys in wings and stuff. Like we were drilling and practicing for it. It's really easy to do even now. But I'm very much looking forward to group activities, flying around in wings, doing military like tactics and organisation and fights, and Operation Pitchfork is very exciting for me.
So it's a good case of a happy accident in game development.
So what I'm working on is we had a metrics update for the shopkeep counter, and the shopkeep counter is going to be used everywhere. That can be used for selling clothes. It can be used for selling plants or weapons, things like that. So there's going to be a lot of common use. So we want to make sure that
I think releasing stuff in any state will improve sales. Even if stuff's buggy, as long as they go, look, we're giving it to you in a raw state. I mean, gaming media might pick up on it and go, oh, look at this buggy piece of shit. They might. I don't know.
Performances and the metrics are matching. What we're going to do is we've decided that we want to take the standing touchscreen for the counter, and we're going to scoot that forward a little bit so that there's room for the performances so they can lean on the counters but they can also type. So there's like a nice compromise between the two. It'll be a new metric, and it'll be different than the standalone standing console, which we already have established. So this will be another version that just works better with the shopkeep.
We're burning down bugs left and right. Just recently, we ran into an issue with Miles Eckhart, one of the mission givers that we're going to have in 3.0. Miles Eckhart was instead of sitting at the bar or the table like he was supposed to, we found him curled up in the fetal position in the corner. So for some reason, he'd had too much to drink, I guess, that day or something, because he was not where he was supposed to be. So that was a fun one to kind of debug and try to figure out. Required a lot of back and forth between Rob Reiniger, lead designer here, Francesco, our lead AI programmer in Frankfurt, some of the networking guys. Like it's a lot of
3.0 needs to not be crap, because it is the skeleton of the game that the rest of the game is built on. Yeah, that is true. Everything needs to be right. It doesn't need to be. Nothing needs to be super polished though. It just needs to be done right, and it needs to be not fucked.
Issues that we're running into are having to coordinate a lot with people from all over the company in order to solve, because it's not just a simple design issue or a simple art issue. It's kind of a combination thereof. There's rarely a feature that is developed solely in one place or on one team, so it requires a lot of coordination between teams for sure.
The burn down rate's not always high, but that's just kind of indicative of game development. The more we tend to resolve, the more we tend to uncover new issues. So the bugs created always rises. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because at the same time, when we're fixing up issues, we're able to get the polish done, fix the bugs, and then watch the burn rate increase.
Where are we at now? We're getting closer. Obviously, with software and with games development, it's really hard to tell where you are exactly at, because the things that really can get you in the hamstrings are the unknown bugs and the crashes with low reproducibility. All the bugs that we fix with the mission giving and with being able to go down to a procedural planet and pick up the boxes and be able to complete those missions is directly going to impact 3.0 and reduces the workload that we now have to do to be able to release 3.0 to you guys, our backers. It's not a direct sprint. It's, you know, we've got to go around the circuit to get there, but we can see it now, and it's being able to realize it. There will be bugs before we get there. How big they are, you know, are yet to be determined, but we are there. We can see it, and it's now just being able to focus in and hone into that release so that you guys can play 3.0.
So at the time of filming this, we've added 27 to our must-fix list and checked in 768 updates to our 3.0 branch this week. That means we're at 94 issues, stopping the release to our first round of non-CIG testers. As Gamescom occurred this week, we had the unique opportunity for what ended up being over 2,000 attendees playing our planetary experience, which, as you know, houses a lot of the new changes coming with SC Alpha 3.0. Now, this did end up increasing the influx of must-fix issues for the better, as it helped us find some issues that may not have occurred until after our first release. So, as the goal every week is to burn down, we're going to keep working to push that number downward as fast as possible. So come back next week to keep up to date on Burn Down.
So, I mean, that was disheartening, but I mean, we understand the process a bit better now. I think it's good that people know that. Like, it goes up as well as down, fuck it. We're in it for the ride, most of us. Some of us want a game now. Yeah. Play Elite Dangerous. Get Elite Dangerous. Don't backstab Citizen. It's not going to be a game for a while. 3.0 will be genuine, tangible gameplay that will be fun, but it's not going to be a full game. You're looking for full games, get a full game. But yeah, I do love the project, though, like, quite genuinely. And the stuff that I've seen in my office tours makes me happy. Right. So, is there anything else that I want to talk about before I host someone else and go eat? Anything else? Yeah, No Man's Sky, they keep on making it better. They released another new patch, the 1.3.5 patch. They keep on adding stuff to it. I honestly think that the 1.4 patch will be basically what a lot of us thought No Man's Sky was going to be originally, and what they kind of promised. And it's good that they didn't just cash grab and run. They are supporting the game. They are going and they're kind of saying they're sorry and trying to address it. So I have respect for them for that. I do not respect the lies, the direct lies they told about multiplayer and stuff at the beginning. That was subversive. Yeah, that was not good. Bad No Man's Sky. But I'm glad it's getting a lot better, No Man's Sky. It was fun to play. Played it recently. I was like, oh, it's quite fun. But Bridge Crew and stuff. So later on tonight, I will be playing some Bridge Crew and some other VR games, multiplayer, some co-op stuff. Yeah. Anyone else got any questions? Right, go. So let's bring someone else up to host and see what else is around. Yes, so at the moment, I believe, even in the 3. Actually, I don't know in 1.3.5. I think they're still balls of light. But when we get actual people nearby, that's going to be good. When we can multi-crew, not necessarily multi-crew, but transport people on iron ships and stuff, that's going to be fun. That'll be fun. It's getting there. It's getting there. What's the game we expected? We're going to go and host Super Mac Brothers in a minute. So I fucking love him. Love you, Ryan. I have an organ game called Nomad Lack, which will be used for a reasonable amount of my content. It's a lot of my light role-playing friends and friends IRL. I will... And when 3.0 comes out, I will talk about the org a bit more and allow people to join if they want to. I'm also part of multiple other orgs, including the Corporation. I think I'm part of Test, probably. And loads of those big orgs as well. Explore, stuff like that. And a few other minor ones. Lawful, neutral, basically what I like to do. I'm not really a pirate. I like to make money. I like to mine. I like to do economy stuff. I like to do industry stuff. I like to do trade. That's what mainly my channel is going to be about once Star Citizen goes live. I will do a little bit of everything, and I will produce content on everything, and I will do how-to videos and basics on everything, but I will do a much more in-depth mechanics for the economy and stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what I like to do. I answered that question. Economy, mining, industry. Yeah, no worries, Jeff. I like the fact that you're good with talking other people with different views and communicating with them in that manner. You're a reasonable person. That's what I like. I like talking reasonably with people. I always go into every conversation knowing that I might not know everything. I might not know everything about my specialist subject matter even. But I think that's an important thing to do. You shouldn't be like super proud of any of your beliefs or anything. You should always want to talk to people and listen to what they have to say, even if you don't agree with them. There's a while to work out what org you want to join, and also you can join multiple orgs. People don't know enough about any of the gameplay mechanics really to decide what org they should be in at the moment. If you want a social experience in the meantime, join a larger, more social org like Star Citizen UK, or an org that is in your region that's like a large group one. Then you can chat to people, and then you can work out what orgs are right for you at the moment. You don't have to make any hard decisions now, though. You can always move around as well. We might see some form of manufacturing in the future. We don't 100% know. They've talked about base building. They've talked about industry nodes in the economy. I would like to see player-owned factories or player-influenced factories. Wow. Jesus Christ. Oh my fucking hell. Why does this happen to me? Right, 1 second. 1 second, we're getting some mods in here. We're getting some moderation. Fuck's sake. I don't even know what my live stream thing is. Is it here? There we go. There we go. I'm gonna get those moderation tools better. I am starting to add some mods. I am promoting my Reddit group because I'm going to start to do a lot more interaction there. There it is. And the other thing, the thingamathing, the Discord as well, which is a thing for Discord. Let me bring that up. No, that's not the button. Find buttons. Server settings. Fantasy URL. No. Why? Why do you do this to me? I have to. I don't want to put it in manually. No, I don't want to put it in. I think it's below the video. Is it below the video? Yeah. It'll be below the video. Discord. Yes. I'm the best. Professional. This is why people watch me. I banned him. It's okay. Fucking what a prick. Yeah, I know, right? Right. I love you guys. Thank you very much. I'm gonna go host Sumat Brothers Ryan. If you want to go and watch him as well, he's here. Tell him you love his face and that BoredGamer sent you, and spam egg emotes if you have them. Thank you so much for watching me today. I will be streaming in a bit, in like a couple of hours, some Bridge Crew multiplayer, which is the Star Trek game, and it's fucking funny and it's hilarious, and you see me disorientated, do some light role play while everyone laughs and we try and swear at each other, and weird things happen. It's really cool. It's a cool little multi-crew experience, and it's really fun. Give some love to Ryan. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for all the donations. Thanks for all the subs. Thanks for all the follows. Thanks for all the love. I want to do like this twice a week at least, like a Star Citizen talk. We need to do it straight after ATV or the schedule report as well, I suppose. So we need to do one on Friday or Saturday or Sunday or something like that. So we'll look at it then. But yeah, we'll do something. Give me feedback. I love you. You're the best. Say hello to Ryan.
Actually done a new... I wanted to... Hang on, let me just have a look at the file I've created. Wait a sec.